To raise your interest rates or not to raise your interest rates? That is the question the Federal Reserve is going to be weighing this week. Since July, the Fed has kept interest rates steady at between 5.25% and 5.5%, which is the highest it's been in 22 years. And even though they've met several times since July, the Fed has decided not to raise or cut the rate, and instead, they've decided to just hold steady and wait and see what the data shows. But this week, they're meeting again to figure out how to move forward. And how they move forward is going to depend on several factors. And if you've been following me and you've been reading my News Girl News Roundup emails, which I highly suggest you sign yourself up for if you haven't done it already, you are well aware of all those factors that the Federal Reserve is going to use to base its decision. Factors like the Consumer Price Index, which I told you about in this video, and most people use as an inflation gauge. The Producer Price Index, which measures the wholesale costs of goods and services. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, which measures U.S. consumer spending, and the unemployment numbers, all of which I have been covering in the Roundup emails every day. And of course, the GDP report, which I talked about in this video last week. All of those things combined showed on the downside, inflation is being really stubborn and is just sitting at 3.7%, which is well above the Fed's target of 2%. But on the upside, unemployment is still very low. Our jobs market is extremely strong. Consumer spending is up and outpacing inflation. And the GDP had a blockbuster third quarter. So what is the Fed going to do this week? Well, I can tell you that they have signaled they will not increase or decrease rates this week. They'll be keeping them the same. Just recently, the Federal Reserve chairman says these higher rates haven't been at this level long enough for them to really take hold in the economy and really see if they can get inflation down. So they're inclined this week to just sort of pump the brakes for one more month. Now, you have to understand, just because the Fed might not raise rates this month doesn't mean they won't raise them in December when they meet one last time in 2023.